Hey everyone, I'm Rafi Salem back with my partner and colleague, the president of F1IT, William Kohl. Thank
Hello.
you. Hello, and today, special guest, Chris Ternus from NexHealth. Chris, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing, Rafi?
I'm great. Okay, so let's just jump into this. Chris, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and NexHealth?
So yeah, I've been with NexHealth for the last year, and I've actually been working with dentists for the last 14 years in marketing and consulting, and came over to NexHealth because I was just really excited about the product and how it was evolving the space of patient scheduling and communication. So we offer online scheduling that's fully integrated with the practice management software, and actually works in tandem with the communications platform that we have created to automate a lot of systems for practices, as well as fully integrated forms, payments. We even offer marketing campaigns. So really looking at how can we really simplify and automate a lot of systems for the dental practices out there, and just make it easier for them to get those patients in the door and retain them.
William, tell us a little bit about F1IT today.
Well, we're a dental IT service provider. We're always focused on giving the customers, our doctors, dentists that we serve, more time to focus on their patient's experience, and we do that in a whole bunch of different ways, but in short, making sure that they're supported and secure so that they can focus on running the practice.
Great. So, Chris, we met up for the first time at the Greater New York Dental Meeting in November of 2021. And last year, we're in a global pandemic. I'm very curious. Number one, how did the show go for NexHealth? What were your impressions before, during, and now we're after the show? It's been a few months since the show. So
yeah, I mean, the show went really well. It was a fantastic show. Got to meet a lot of providers in the New York area, or and even some from kind of just the Eastern Seaboard in general, Mid-Atlantic and everything. So a lot of people there. Had a lot of great interest, several people signing up for our services, and seeing some really great results in those offices. Ultimately, right around that time was when Omicron became an issue of conversation. And so I remember hopping on the plane, and that was on the news while I was getting ready to board my flight back to the West Coast. So since then, we've really seen a lot of transition in offices, and I think we're going to continue to see that, but since then, we have put out our State of Dental, which was a document where we surveyed 1,300 dentists or dental professionals across the country, vast majority of them being dentists. And we ended up finding out, just a lot about dental practices and where there's some real advantages that practices can take advantage of in the coming year. So yeah, that's been fantastic. I mean, do you mind if I speak to that a little bit? Some of that data there, Rafi? Sorry, just rambling. So yeah, what we looked at, and this is just national data, is 29% of Americans ended up relocating since the beginning of COVID, which is the largest transition or relocation that we've seen of the population since the 1940s.
I relocated. I think Rafi did
too.
I said I relocated, and I think Rafi did as well.
I relocated just a little bit before that, but still in transition. So, there's been a lot of transition in the population, and that means that there's a lot of patients out there that are looking for new providers across the country and internationally, because we saw that happen all over the world. I just don't have stats for, Canada and Australia and everything. But at the end of the day, the vast majority of those patients that were transitioning locations, 40% of them were actually younger. So 25 to 44% of those people who were relocating actually ended up being in that kind of prime of their working careers, just starting out or right in the middle of it in that 44 range. And those are real tech savvy consumers out there. So of course, us being a product that's looking at how can we make it more convenient and more effective for practices to inflow these patients, it was really interesting because we found that according to health grades, 77% of patients are looking for some type of online scheduling from their future provider. And only 26% of the industry has actually adopted this as a way of getting patients into the practice. So there's just a huge opportunity out there with so many patients, either currently or very near in the future, looking for a new provider, being able to get them. And one way to do that is getting ahead of that curve and being, in the 27, 28, 29, 30% of doctors who are adopting this, because it's a change that's coming. It's just a matter of when your practice ends up doing it.
Will, I'd love to hear about the partnership between F1IT and NexHealth. How did you meet NexHealth and Chris, and how does that partnership work?
Well, again, we're really looking out for our customers and providing them with the best tools and experiences. Again, whether that's being directly with their technology, making sure that they're secure and everything like that, or helping them become more productive and ultimately growing their practices. And once we heard of NexHealth and their direct integrations and their forms and everything that they provide, I made it a point to get in contact with the team there and see how we can help get this to more and more of our customers, because we really believe in the platform and the way that they help the practices grow.
So, Chris, it's Q1. We're actually in the middle. Will and I were just talking about this. Like, it's not Q1; it's the middle.
It is the middle.
How did that happen? How are things going now? Any of the predictions that you had made last year, are they coming to fruition? Are you seeing, like you said, with migration and geography? Are you seeing things going according to schedule, or are you seeing some anomalies?
Oh, I mean, it's going according to schedule from, the advancement of gaining new patients and retaining them for our clients. We're seeing that just be really impactful. I think the biggest actual change that we saw from our predictions last year was the kind of that hiring shortage that everyone has been experiencing, in addition to the fact that we've seen so many people needing to call out sick or take care of their kids for, a day. So there's a lot of staff members that have actually ended up needing to utilize our services just to kind of take some of that burden off of them that otherwise, if it's a two people at a front office practice and all of a sudden one person's out, that workload gets put on that one person, whereas our system can really automate a lot of that. And even if there's no front desk person, a lot of times our system's able to get patients fully booked, send out their forms, get them confirmed. So that way, if the office, opens up the next day, they'll be able to inflow that patient and just welcome them in the door without having to have the front desk really lift a finger to make sure that transaction happens. So we've just seen a lot of impact from being able to assist the practices in that realm.
Will, same question. Have you seen any big changes, or things going according to schedule?
I mean, I've seen more of a shift in the way practices have kind of looked inwardly. The pandemic kind of gave us an opportunity to do that, kind of slow down and see where we can improve our processes and really just increase the productivity of the practice. So I think there has been more of a spotlight shown on technology and the ability for that for technology to empower the practices. So I want to say that that's really been the biggest shift that we've experienced. We've heard that kind of feedback from our customers.
So you touched upon technology. Obviously, we're all in technology. Speaking of technology, tell us about the future, Chris. Well, what is in store for the rest of 2022 and beyond? I mean, I know it's early on, but if there's one takeaway that people who are watching this should take away from what NexHealth can do for them, please share.
I mean, the biggest takeaway for what we can do is really reduce some of the administrative work that teams don't need to do. We want the front desk to be focused on the things that can't be automated, welcoming the patient, validating those insurance maximums, presenting effective treatment plans that are going to get accepted. We don't want to have them spinning a bunch of additional plates that really can be taken care of through a fantastic system that is fully integrated with their practice management software and speaks to itself. So unifying a lot of these disparate systems that practices have across multiple user interfaces and putting those under one roof and having them all work together is really the thing that, you know, practices should be taking away from this. In addition to that, you know, something that we have, when I've spoken to Will, he's mentioned our customer service being a huge reason as to why he felt the partnership was really effective. And in our surveys, what we found is that's something that dentists are really looking for from a tech provider is customer service. They want, you know, answers in hours, not days. They want one-to-one onboarding training to make sure that their staff is effectively able to utilize those tools. And that's something we've always offered and are looking to double down on and expand our customer success team even more to just make sure that there's no hiccup in that same support that, you know, Will found surprising from us to start with.
And that personalization is really important. Familiarity with the issues and everything. It's amazing.
All right. That being said, Will, any trade shows or upcoming events that you'd like to make our audience aware of?
Well, we'll be exhibiting again at the Greater Long Island Dental Meeting in Melville, Long Island. We'll be there, and that's until November. We'll be at the Greater New York Dental Meeting again.
And Chris, how about for NexHealth?
Yeah, we've got some great upcoming events where we're planning on being at pretty much everything in some capacity with some, you know, team members out there, you know, ADSO and, you know, I actually don't, I'm poorly prepared on the events front, but I do know that we're going to have people at the events, you know, pretty much moving forward. ADSO is the big one that sticks in my mind. And then, you know, the biggest thing for us right now is really trying to get the information out about our state of dental. So, you know, I know that that's something that we're going to link in, you know, future posts about this. I believe we'll have in the comments a place for, you know, providers and, you know, dental workers to go and see this information that we've gathered and what we really found, you know, with our survey of their peers.
Would you like to highlight any of those points right now, if you haven't touched upon it earlier?
You know, I think of all of the points that I haven't touched on, I think the biggest one that I would really key in on right now is 96% of the offices we surveyed. Actually, Will, was it 96 or 94? I think you quoted the
94, I believe was the
94. I'm thinking it's the 6%.
What's 2% amongst friends?
I know, margins of error. But so 94% of practices are looking to actually grow and see more patients in the coming year. And they're really looking at this to be a period of growth. Only 6%, there's that 6 that I was looking for, aren't looking to see growth this year or aren't expecting to. And so with that, with those expectations of seeing that really impactful growth across such a huge majority of the practice, it really does come down to how do you put yourself above the other practices. Patients are looking for, you know, someone that really fits their needs, especially those 29% of patients that are going to be looking simply because they've relocated. And so you've really got to distinguish yourself, and giving them what they want through online scheduling is a fantastic way to do that with a really easy lift. And ultimately, not only can you generate more revenue, but you can also save your team more time so that they can focus on collecting revenue and getting, you know, insurance and everything taken care of, and not having to run around like a chicken with their head cut off.
Well, thank you very much, Chris Ternus of NexHealth. We really appreciate you being on the show. William Kohl, president of F1IT, Dental Technology Advisors. Thank you, as usual. And I'm Rafi Salem for F1IT. For everyone watching this, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ralphie.